Good afternoon and welcome back to 1 Minute Card Designs. I'm excited to share this one with you today. And today's focus is on how punches and dies can help you with faster card designs. Clean, simple, and quick. I wanted to use the 1 3/8 circle punch along with the new butterfly punch. So if you noticed in the spring catalog this year, there was this cute little punch that was added. That's the actual size of the punch, and it would have been perfect for this 1 minute card design. So because I don't have that punch, I'm kind of bummed out. This is going to be a 5 minute card design, which isn't much more. I just wish I had that punch, and you'll see why. Okay, so instead of that punch, I'm actually going to use the Embosslit Beautiful Wings die. So it's a small die, and when you use it, you're just going to take a small piece of paper. I suggest you cut squares to like 2¼ by 2¼ because this is 2 by 2, so you can see it's a little bit shy of covering all of the stamp. But in this case, all I really wanted was that butterfly. But if I did this square 2¼ by 2¼ I could close this and actually run it through the Big Shot and get all of those butterflies. What I want to point out here is on the bottom it says place this side down. That means actually place that side down. So when you run it through the Big Shot, run it through so that this is either this way or this way. It doesn't matter that much, but that those white texts are down. I wouldn't run it through like that. The reason being is it would be off balance a little bit. So bring it through, because of the hinge, I would bring it through this way, through your Big Shot, and then you'll get a perfect cut. When you cut them out, you get a lot of different sized butterflies, which I really love. And not only are they cut, but they're also embossed. And so that's actually going to make this card really prettier than it would have been if I had the little punch, even though it's not going to be as fast because you have to do a little die cut step, which, I mean, all of a minute is not a big deal, but you know, a minute in YouTube is a lot of time. So here's the size of the butterfly that came out of that Embosslit, and you can see it compared to the punch. They're about the same size, which would have made this butterfly work really well on this card and would have made the card faster. So my recommendation, get the punch. But if you don't have it, definitely get the Embosslit. And if you want to be really smart, get them both, because there's a lot of variety you can do here. So before you sit down to do this card with me, go ahead and run your papers, your small squares, through the Embosslit 3 times for each color. This is going to be a 2-color card, or I guess it's a 3-color if you count the neutral white, but you're going to be using 2 colors of cardstock, Pool Party and Crumb Cake. So what you'll do is you'll run your Embosslit 3 times in each color, and then you'll be ready to sit down and do this card with me. Okay, so here goes. So as you can see, I have already embossed that same butterfly 3 times in each color. And if you notice, one side is going to be embossed, and one side, this is the embossed side, and then there's the debossed side. We're actually going to use the embossed side on one color and the debossed side on the other color. All right, so you're going to do it. You're going to use both in this card, and what you're going to do is, whatever the front is, just take your finger, take a minute, and just round the wings of the butterfly. You can do just the top wings, or you can do both. That will give them some dimension. The ones that you turn over to use the other side, you just kind of push it the other way, and automatically the wings will come up the other way. So just because it tends to fold on one side, you can definitely use your fingers, as simple as that, to give them a little bit of rounding so that the wings kind of take flight. And that's it. That's really easy, right? Couple of things I didn't tell you that you're going to need is you're going to need a piece of watercolor paper, only because I like the texture, but you could use a piece of white paper too. And what I've done is I've cut it 1 inch smaller than my card base. So my card base is my regular 5.5 by 4.25 in Pool Party. And then I've cut 1 inch off of the watercolor paper so that it's only 3.25 by 4.5. So 1 inch on smaller than the base. And then I've created a mat for that, which is about 1/8 of an inch larger than that. And so that you need. And then I'll put that aside for now. You're going to take 2 strips, 1 strip of Pool Party and 1 strip of Crumb Cake, and you're going to take your 1 1/8 inch circle punch, 1 3/8 inch circle punch, and you're going to punch 3 squares in each color. So the strips just make it a little easy, but you can punch it out of scraps, you can punch it out of larger pieces of paper. I just find the strips a little easy, especially when I'm doing a workshop. I'll just make a strip and then they can punch out. Alright, so now I have 3 of the Pool Party and 3 of the Crumb Cake, both in the butterflies and in the circles. Now you're going to take that little base, and I suggest you do this layout with a temporary adhesive first, but if you don't have it, don't worry about it too much. And if you use the liquid adhesive, what I like about it is it tends to make it a little bit easier to get the circles completely glued down. You know, like so that they're flat to the paper and they don't raise up on the sides. But if you just store it flat, it won't have a problem, just because you did just the center of the circle. Now I'm going to take my butterflies and I'm going to take them, remembering that I'm going to do, and that's why I kind of did the wings first. It helps me remember how they're going to lay out. So the brown butterflies are going to go in the middle, the Crumb Cake butterflies are going to go in the middle of the Pool Party paper. And you can use a glue dot if you want to. Actually, glue dots, the beauty of using a glue dots on this is they will not come apart if you're, mailing them. So I actually do, I guess if I was mailing this and I wasn't doing it as a video, I would use glue dots here. But because I have my snail handy, I'm going to use that. And now I'm going to take my Pool Party butterflies and put them on top of the Crumb Cake circles. Really easy. This is one of those relaxing kind of projects because you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And your biggest focus is, is it lined up? Okay, once I do that, I'm going to take some of the pearls. Don't you just love these pearls? And I'm going to put 1 white pearl of the medium size right in the middle of each butterfly. And you can see I'm using my nails. If you don't have nails, use the side of an X-Acto kind of knife. You can take it and pick it up like that. Or you can use your paper piercer to pick it up. But I do have a little bit of nail on just the right finger, so I can usually pick it up. And what's nice about the Stampin' Up! Flatback pearls is they are self-adhesive, and you get so many that you don't have to be cheap with your pearl accents. Now I bet you can guess what I'm going to do next. I'm going to mount this. And again, I probably, if I wasn't doing it this way, I would probably use tape for this. And I would tape it onto my mat, as opposed to trying to snail and flattening out my wings. Okay, and now guess what I have here? I have my focal point all ready. Next I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and I'm going to put I like to put one in each corner, not too close to the edge, and kind of one in the middle. But you know, you don't have to use a lot. Again, depends on how you're delivering this. If you're delivering this by the post office, I would use more. Otherwise, you know, it doesn't need that much. The rule I usually give at my workshop is if you're using my stamping dimensionals, just use a couple. But if you're using your own, use as many as you like. But there's so many stamping dimensionals that come in a pack. We don't have to really be cheap. Alright, so here's my card base. And I'm just going to use my cutting mat or your grid paper. And you're going to center that on there. And that's it. That's it. I mean, that is truly a clean and simple. It's blank. If you wanted to take a banner and put a banner with expression like thank you or happy birthday or something, you very well could. I think I would like a banner in vellum here so that it's see-through and you can see the design still. But I like it just blank. And then inside I can put whatever I want. Another idea you could have is you could have one butterfly be like from glitter paper or something. And then inside you could stamp your special, or there's only one U, which is one of our stamp sets. We have a wood stamp. I have a wood stamp called There's Only One U. You could put that inside if you made one of these butterflies uniquely different than the others. Show you a couple of variations on this. Here's on a 5x7 card, so much larger. And I've used the little silver baby brads instead of the pearls. And these are all mounted up. So these are mounted up with 2 stamping dimensionals, and these are mounted up with 1. So they are in different levels. Kind of gives you a little bit of a different look. Try other punches. Here I just used the flower punch, and I chose one of the flowers from the center of that. Same idea. Inside I could write whatever I want. But really neat, quick way to get a card out. Pull out your punches and see what you can frame. You can do this with squares or circles. I like to do it with circles because squares are so often used. And get out your stuff and make a 1-minute card today. Bye-bye.